Good morning, good evening, good day, and good afternoon. This is the Alt Kings podcast. I'm your host, Tate, and today we have Salvador.io on, their marketing lead. Vendy, how you doing today, man?
Doing well, Tate. How about you?
Doing well. It's an exciting honor to be able to host, Salvador.io on the Alt Kings podcast. This is actually, I believe, the first Avalanche NFT sort of, not necessarily project, but it is a marketplace. It's just the first Avalanche chain, I guess, vision that I've hosted on the show, which is exciting. But my first question for you would be, what inspired you to create Salvador.io or be a part of this team? What was, the envision that the founders had?
Sure. Well, first, want to start saying honor is ours if we're the first representative of AVAX on here. Pleasure to be here.
Definitely.
And
of course.
So the vision behind Salvador.io was that our founders were successful business developers and entrepreneurs on Web2, and they had already established one of the the top three freelance marketplaces in Europe, and they pretty much got everything they could out of Web2 and like government restrictions and what have you. They were looking for a new challenge, so they decided to venture into Web3. And what Avalanche offered in terms of technology and DeFi really attracted them to the space, and there's a booming art scene on Avalanche as well. So they figured they had this conception of a marketplace that is there to uphold art in the first place and also to reward its users, its investors, degens, DeFi people, artists, collectors, everybody. So they set out to create this marketplace that our tagline at first was the marketplace that Avalanche deserves. And so that's how that got started. And organically, bit by bit, we've grown. And currently, I think recently, we've become the leading marketplace on the Avalanche NFT ecosystem.
Wow. That's incredible. Congratulations. That's definitely a big accomplishment, regardless of the chain. If you have, that total control over where the NFTs are traded at, you kind of have really total control over the chain itself. So, that's one step in the right direction. Why kind of did you choose Avalanche over other competing chains by chance? Because I've never really spoken to any Avalanche project, hence kind of why you guys are the first, but I'm just curious kind of what pulls people to Avalanche. What's so special about their technology?
Well, for me, it was first I moved to Avalanche. I started out in Ethereum as a collector. Then eventually I got my start at Web3 as a moderator, as many do. And I, a founder on Avalanche right now, we're well known, a good developer called Minifridge, asked if we could help out with this new collection he was launching on Avalanche, which is now Monkeys. If Avalanche fans will know about Monkeys. And so I went there as a moderator, and I got a sense of the ecosystem. And the gas fees were the first thing that made a huge difference to me, because there's a lot of gamified things on there, a lot of trading going on, and the gas fees were so incredibly low compared to Ethereum and so much more faster that I was like, okay, this is pretty cool. But what essentially tied me to the Red Chain, definitively, was the community that we had back then going on. Was a small team of OneOne artists, their collectors, some what's the word here? High gold. Couldn't think of the word. Some developers with high goals, and it was just a booming chain, blooming, I should say, and that's what attracted me there in the first place. And I met my now team members there first as their collectors. They were well-established artists of the scene. And one of them is actually a founder of an art organization in Turkey right now. And I think that's how they got in touch with our leading dev, and one thing led to another, and some of our advisors were following Avalanche very closely as well. And so for me personally, it started out as a collector, then like a community thing. And for them, our artists and all the others, it was basically the fast, cheap transaction, sleek, easy to use blockchain, and the great community that attracted us to Avalanche in the first place.
After kind of what you said, Avalanche kind of reminds me of some of these other tokens out there, kind of like Hedera, HBAR, Algorand, Cardano, XRP, tokens like that, where it's like they're able to take very high transaction volumes and withstand, the transactional cost it takes per transaction. And you need that for any marketplace and or ecosystem that wants to scale and wants to bring in, tens of hundreds of thousands of users on a daily basis transacting with that native currency. You kind of need the scalable solutions rather than being like a chain like Ethereum where everything's pretty much broken half the time. But, besides the point, I really like where you guys went with the sustainable approach. It seems like AVAX was a smart approach since you guys are now, kind of the leading marketplace over there. What have been some of those challenges you've faced, creating Salvor.io on AVAX? Have you had challenges with, the community itself on AVAX, or has there been any technical issues that have been, resolved that have came across your journey?
Sure. The main challenge, I think, was the organic development, because when we first launched, it was the height of the bear market on Avalanche specifically. Volumes all across the place were down, and we launched alongside it. It was an interesting coincidence because we launched alongside I think 3 or 4 other marketplaces, and the sentiment back then was we had 2 leading marketplaces, and the community. The main feedback we got was, do we really need another marketplace? And in all honesty, the first time I heard about Salvor.io, I had the same thought about it. We really need another marketplace. There's already low volume scattered across anyway. But when Spaceful Thought, my partner and our team artist, got in touch with me, he gave me a quick little speech, a little bit of alpha about what Salvor had planned for the future, what we then referred to as the master plan. Which we'll get into later, I assume, involved like listing pools for NFTs and gaining of a token while waiting for an NFT to sell. And it just seemed very nice, like a very novel, innovative idea to me. So that's what sold it to me. And the main challenge, I would say, was to have to just sit on that for a couple of months while it was being built. And, trying to convince people that, yes, we do need another marketplace because this marketplace is going to bring something neat in the future. But I can't tell you about it now, but trust me, you're going to love it, was the thing. And thankfully, we had our flagship project, ArtSoup, that launched with us, which brings OneOne artists together. And so one artist starts a piece and the other one finishes it. And it started out as a single collection back then, and it's what kept us afloat, so to speak. During the bear, we became known as that boutique marketplace that deals in OneOne art at first. That's how we were able.
Not a bad way of being looked at.
Yeah, that's how we were able to survive during the bear in the competition. Yeah. Then when we launched our master plan, so to speak, with the listing pools and whatnot, we gradually started to get more volume, and then we built it together with the community. It wasn't all optimal maybe at first, and community has some concerns, and we have an innovators channel on the Discord, a special role for our community members. We build it together with them, with their feedback and everything, and all in all, we just kept our heads straight, didn't get involved in any drama that can arise in any Web3 community. And we just kept our heads down and, kept building. And organically, we just grew into the marketplace we are now today.
That's incredible. So I kind of actually want to dabble a little deeper into this. What makes Salvor so unique compared to other marketplaces? What is that master plan?
Well, the master plan involved mainly our platform's own token, which is called the ART token. And the master plan started out very simple. It was, we create a listing pool for select NFT collections on Avalanche, say Monkeys, the one I mentioned earlier. And what it does is, so there's no exploitation of it. There was a max price when we first launched it. So there's a price range that you can list this NFT at. And when you list it, you immediately start earning our art token on-chain and real-time. You could harvest it at any time. And it then led to a twofold decision for the users. They could either swap it for AVAX right away, turn it into money, or they could further stake it in our platform. And that will start earning them VART. We used to call it back then, but that became a little confusing for the people. So we changed it to Salvor Power. And so Salvor Power, the more you earn a stake art, the more Salvor Power you start earning. There is a max cap for people. And basically Salvor Power is a percentage, and the more percentage of Salvor Power people have, the more they get from the revenue distribution protocol. And I think this is the part that really distinguishes Salvor from others, because Salvor currently, still from the launch of the master plan, distributes 100% of all the platform's revenues and fees to the art stakers. And currently, I think we are close to, if we haven't passed, but I think we are close to almost 14,000 AVAX distributed to our art stakers.
That's big. That's amazing, man. And I really like the approach with that. I think it's, very clever, especially very genuine at the end of the day, giving back everything, not necessarily taking any sort of cut back into the company itself to disperse for other reasons. But it just shows, it shows true authenticity when it comes to things like that. You're innovating, you're creating something that's unique, engaging, interactive, as well as, overall, it's one of those things that not a lot of people really expect, because, their whole goal is to come onto this marketplace or another marketplace on chain, buy the NFT. If they want to keep it, hold on to the values that come with it, so be it. But there's always going to come a day, in most cases, where people sell their NFT. But if you have it listed on the marketplace, you could be earning some additional value besides, having that NFT listed. And so I think that's where it's like, you're starting to get the best of both worlds now, even if you don't want to list the NFT and sell it away. So it's quite interesting and very unique. So I that's exciting to hear. First of its time for me.
The thing about that is people regard it as still do, some of them, as staking one's NFT. And we always, it's come a long way since then. We have different collections that you can stake, or different way power is distributed now. But since we first started, we always are careful to make the distinction that this is not staking your NFT. And I should say the NFT gets locked for 2 days if you pull list it. So if it's an NFT you don't want to sell, do not list it. We always say this because we've all lost some valuable NFTs on there, because human error happens. But yeah.
Nice. So, my next question really is, what is some advice you would give to other entrepreneurs who are thinking about, creating an NFT marketplace? Obviously, you aren't necessarily the founder, but you are, the lead marketing guy. What has your experience been with marketing an NFT marketplace on Twitter, on any other social media platforms that you might go to? What's that been like?
My experience has been, I think, AVAX, being on AVAX for a long time now. I think the key thing I would always say, and I've like had my own project before, I was a moderator and all that. The thing I will always say is keep it organic and have patience. You're not going to get overnight success. You're not gonna get like 10,000 followers or like 100,000 followers overnight. And do not buy bots. Do not get bot followers, because anybody who's a genuine investor or a serious person is going to check your followers, and I always do. And like, if somebody applies and they're like, "Oh, we have 400,000 followers," I go and check, because there isn't that.
Even the account with 10K plus.
Yeah.
A lot of those 13K plus accounts, it's just like, bro, we can either tell based off your engagement that you're a fake account with bots, or we can just tell through the bots themselves, just not really backing up anything.
Exactly. Anybody with like the basic research skill is going to be able to tell, and that's just going to kill your credibility right away. So, I say just keep it organic, keep building. You got to think, if you're starting a new marketplace, am I bringing something new to the table? Like, there's a lot of marketplaces out there, but on Ethereum, on Solana, they all have like some features that make them unique, the ones that we know of. So you got to think, first and foremost, before you even get started, are you bringing something unique to the table? Are you actually going to make a difference, or are you just going to be another marketplace out there? Because if you're just going to be another marketplace out there, then, I mean, I'm sorry for delivering bad news, but you're probably not going to make it. Or you have to, I don't know, bring maybe Yuga Labs into your marketplace or something, and something that
your branding's got to be spot on. It's got to be like one of one unique, and it's got to just, everything has to work 1,000%. And if one thing falls, they're just going back to where they natively came.
Yeah. And marketplaces do tend to also, people tend to stick to their favorite marketplace. So if you're a new marketplace entering, don't be, I don't know what's the word for it. It's a second language. I'm sorry. Something.
Discouraged?
Discouraged or angry or disappointed, whatever, with the people, because people will, it's the same thing for anything. It's the same thing for brand of sneakers, cigarettes, t-shirts, whatever. People will have a favorite brand and they will use it unless there's a reason to use another one. So you need to have that reason. You need to figure out your brand voice, your marketing strategy, what your product is, and you got to keep it organic. And then this is the most important thing for anybody building in Web3, whether it's an artist, a collection, or a collector, marketplace. Engage with the people. You have to. Yeah. Work out what slots, Twitter slots work for you, which ones you get the maximum engagement. Join Twitter Spaces. Are we supposed to call it X now? I'm sorry, that's just not sticking. Yeah, just keep it organic, just keep it engaging, and figure out what separates you, and just work your brand voice around that, I guess I can say in summary.
That's great points. Couldn't have said it better, to be honest with you. What are your thoughts on the current state of the NFT, market? It seems as if we're still in the bear, of course. Things are pretty dry with liquidity. I mean, we get some spikes here and there of, consistent liquidity, or spikes in just increased volume. But what are your thoughts on everything going on?
I think we are currently entering the main transition phase. There needs to be something that...
There needs to be another fallback. It's got to be a big setback for a big comeback, I think.
Yeah. I think we're on the stage. You know how when the internet was first created in Web 0, it was just for checking stocks, emails, and news. And people were saying, like, why would I don't need that. I have a newspaper. And what the internet has become today, it still carries that weight of the Web 0 times, but it's so much more. And I think the time of Web 0 in relation to Web 3 is coming to an end. NFT started out as images being sold online for great amounts of money. I mean, and it evolved into one of the utilities that I think will still be present in the future when there is mass adoption. I do believe there is going to be a mass adoption, which is I think it's now the fourth, because the second one already happened, like the renaissance of digital art and all these and now AI has come along, and I think art is going to remain to be a utility, but I think for this bear in NFTs to end, it's not just tied to crypto. I think for the bear in NFTs to end, there needs to be fresh blood coming into the scene. And people, like celebrities buying a couple of H doesn't cut it anymore. For
No, not at all.
You know, it's a different...
It's got to be larger institutions.
Yeah, larger institutions coming in, like real life utilities. Some projects are already working on this. Real life utilities like passes, like things that utilize the technology of what a non-fungible token is, whether it's going to be, I don't know, ID cards, membership passes, or whatever you might think of. That's going to make people on Web2 look and say, oh, I guess NFTs aren't just these pictures of monkeys that used to sell for $1 million, because that made a lot of people angry, and I think it really stalled the mass adoption, because people were saying, it's stupid, you're selling a picture for, and it's, I think, pulled us away from what NFTs really are, which is just the next step in technological advancement in authentication. And I think
definitely, have you heard of, the Creator Pass recently?
No.
So the Creator Pass is something that Mr. Beast just promoted. Obviously, he's like one of the biggest influencers on YouTube. But he is one of his most recent videos. He promoted this league called Creator Pass, and it's basically bundling up some of the biggest influencers in the world. They all get together. They all group up their fans, and their fans can buy these passes on this website to support them. And turns to find out that a lot of these creators didn't realize, but these passes that they're buying are actually NFTs. And so some creators are actually stepping out of the whole entire creator tournament thing that they're trying to build up because it being using NFTs. And then a lot of other people are just the fans and stuff are kind of hesitant because, NFTs get this really bad stigma that people don't necessarily want to, support them because they think they're just quote unquote risky, scary, dangerous, volatile. Who names it? You can name it all, and people will give a reason to say why. But so basically, NFTs are pretty much getting backlash from larger influencers, creators, and people in that sort of influential space. And it's unfortunate to see because a guy like Mr. Beast, who goes out of his way to kind of market this, bring it to life more for the company building it, I guess he didn't necessarily know NFTs were behind it either. But it's just the fact that although nobody really had any understanding that NFTs were going to be, backing this sort of vision, the moment they hear it, it changes everything.
Yeah.
And it's like they're completely changed now, and it's like they're vultures in a sense. They're like, NFTs? I don't want this. I don't want this at all. And it's like, bro, why? It stores it. One, it holds its value. It's not like you're just buying an app for $5 and then the next thing you know, you delete it and then you don't even have it anymore. No, it holds its value. So anything, it's going to be on-chain forever. And you could even sell this potentially down the road. And two, there's probably going to be so many more additional values, like just benefits that come with it. It just only makes sense for it to be, something related to blockchain technology.
Yeah, but I think like the main thing you said, is the NFTs have this stigma around them. The same people hear the word NFT, it's just you become under attack, and it's the more people there are in the room that you said NFT, the more of a mob you're facing. So
pretty much.
I mean, I think that there's two things, as I said. One, people need to be somehow onboarded, maybe change the term from NFT to digital collectible or whatever, because digital collectibles are a thing. Video games have them. I don't know. Other stuff have them probably. And so maybe just change the name to something more, something that people will like, or rebrand it.
Yeah.
And the second...
Blindside them.
Yes. Another thing is, if the money comes in somehow, something happens, and there's just this out of the blue, because you don't know, out of the blue, there's this another like a second NFT bull and all of a sudden all these apes start going for millions again, and people are just making money left or right, and artists are saying, oh, this is amazing, I'm getting into this. Again, there's going to be another sect of people who will be hating it because it's a technology they don't understand. They don't understand how people are making this amount of money in it. It's just a handful of people making that amount of money, but still they're going to be feeling that FOMO, and I think that FOMO is what turns into anger. But regardless, I think this is going to also bring in new people as well, because when there's money to be made somewhere, people will go into it.
Yeah, the birds will flock.
Yeah. So I think the current state of the NFT market is I don't think it's very sustainable in the very long run, but we don't know if we can't tell what's going to happen in the future. So there's always a chance that another bull's going to come. There's always a chance somebody's going to do something that's going to onboard people. But I think we just have to give it a while and see, because there are still new people coming in. There are still creators, people who utilize the technology. So as we say, in the bear is the time we ain't got to be building. So when and if the bull comes, that's going to determine the people who are going to make it.
Definitely. Show me some AVAX projects real quick. What are some of the top NFTs on AVAX?
Top NFTs on AVAX. The one that I think many people will go to is Ferdy Fish. Ferdy Fish is a drawing of like a cartoon fish. It's a PFP. It just gained insane value and volume. The team behind it are creating work very well. There's always shout out to Campfire, our competitor, friends and competitors here. Mr. Josh Hughes' collection, Cuttlefish, is a collection of OneOne drawn cuttlefish, all colorful, very nice. We got the legendary Tap Tap Kaboom, bringing in collections mixed with technology in his very dreamy, colorful style. Then we got...
What's your favorite?
Communities. Out of the OneOnes, my favorite is an artist that hasn't been around for a while now. He sometimes dips in, drops some fire, and dips back out, called Burger Pix. He has this like dark gritty style, like this dark gritty horror style, which I really like. Then we got my friend Tunç Suardaş, who is one of the founders of one of the great communities on AVAX called Black Flag Pirates. And there are a couple of OneOne artists who have separate collections, but they have this Captain's collection, which is they draw you can see it on my PFP on Twitter as well. It's a collection of OneOne hand-drawn captains. That's like
nice.
A whole rule set to get into a different time on Discord. And
I love OneOne art.
Link to count. Yeah. I can't name all of them, but yeah.
Yeah, I know. That's how I guess also. People ask me to name all these NFT projects sometimes. It's just like somebody to choose from, and I don't want to disrespect others and, not include them. It's always hard to pick. Closing thoughts, on Salvador.io. What's the future looking like for you guys over there?
The future is looking very bright. We are building. We are right now created just recently. Even we've formed I think around 5 or 6 new partnerships with all these great builders in these communities. Our V2 has just started rolling out. Right now, we are awarding art, liquidity to people for making offers on NFTs. We've launched offer pools based on traits even. And lots more to come on their way. We have an initiative called the Don Quixote Initiative, where we support OneOne artists and give them all the support they might need, marketing, tech, or art direction-wise. And, I think the future is looking good. We're building together with the community. The community is going strong, and I'm really excited for the future.
I agree, Vandy. The future is looking great. I just want to also say once again, thank you for taking the time to join me on this podcast. It's been a real pleasure. Learned a lot more about Salvador.io, and I plan on venturing more into the AVAX chain. But with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you all enjoyed watching this podcast. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you all next episode. Peace.